You're not gonna believe this. I'm making beef cookies. Another thing you're not gonna believe. This video is part of a collaboration with Jim from Jim's Kitchen and Sherry over at Cooking with Sherry. That's right, there are 2 other people who wanted to make beefed up desserts with me.
Where's the beef?
What? Where's the beef?
Here's the beef. So we're gonna jump right in. Again, I'm going to be using the book Ground Beef Roundup. These people love their beef. This book was published in 1979 by Farm Wife News, which explains the beefiness of its nature. If you'd like to try this recipe, it's written in the description below this video. I'm cutting this recipe in half. Do not need more beef cookies than is absolutely necessary. I started by browning half a cup of ground beef. I don't usually measure beef in cups. I usually measure it in ounces, pounds, what have you. This ended up being roughly 1/3 of a pound. Brown that up in a pan, and I didn't even have to drain it because I used some pretty low fat stuff. Set that aside, let it cool, and then you're gonna cream half a cup of shortening with a cup of packed brown sugar. I washed it, don't worry. My shortening and sugar combined, I'm going to add 1 egg. Beat that a little bit more until it gets fluffy. Now we get to add the main event, the beef, going right in there, along with 1/4 cup of sour milk. You can use buttermilk in this recipe. I personally didn't want to buy buttermilk and then have to use it up. So what I did was I added 3/4 teaspoon of white vinegar to my little 1/4 cup measure. And then I filled it the rest of the way with just regular milk. And then you kind of you stir it together and let it sit for a few minutes until it thickens. In that goes. You have to see what this looks like. You never can get used to seeing a bunch of beef crumbles in your cookie batter. So now I'm going to sift together our dry ingredients, which are pretty standard. That's 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour and half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and finally half a teaspoon of baking powder. So now we're adding our dry ingredients to the beef mixture. Okay, this is soft. This is a soft dough. Soft and beefy. A new fragrance. No, no. Now, unlike the beef brownie recipe, there are no walnuts in these cookies, so the beef crumbles have nowhere to hide. If you find a lump in the cookie, it's definitely beef this time. It's only beef. Drop by teaspoons. Okay. So it actually says to scoop these onto greased baking sheets. These are nonstick, so I'm gonna see how it goes for me with just these. The consistency of this cookie dough is reminding me a lot of the soup cookies that I made a few videos back, more than a few. I guess I'm just making weird cookies now. If you haven't watched that video, you definitely should, and I'll go ahead and link that in the corner and in the description down below. If you wanna find out which beefy delights that Sherry and Jim are making, you're gonna have to go check out their videos. Another thing I'll link in the description down below. We've scooped the first batch of beef cookies. These go into a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. May I present to you beef drop cookies. They look pretty ordinary as cookies go. Kinda like a Nilla wafer, maybe a little bit bigger, but with some mysterious crumbles in them. If you handed these to someone, they might think they were mini chocolate chips, so friends, family, I promise not to make you eat these without warning you first. They might be fine. I haven't tried them yet. I guess the time's come. It's just weird. The cookie by itself, very pleasant, just kind of a light, sweet, buttery flavor, kind of crispy on the bottom. But then you hit those beef crumbles. They're not bad, they really aren't. Just maybe a little bit unusual, a little bit jarring. Now, if you put bacon bits in these cookies, I was just thinking of this earlier. If you added bacon to a cookie, I don't think people would really think about it that much. But when it's a beef crumble, that's a whole different story. There's just like a tiny bit of salty savoriness there. Maybe I just didn't get one with like a lot of beef in it. Or any of you like a little bit beefier? Let me try this one. Maybe there's like more beef. That's chewy. It's like chewy in a bouncy way. If you took this cookie batter and you added chocolate chips or nuts or something, like it would just be like, it's a normal cookie. But the beef does not add a lot here. I'm still just wondering why. Why do this? I did it, you don't have to do it. These aren't gonna go on my cookie exchange list for the holidays, so don't worry. Anyway, I think I've made all of the beefy desserts that I'm gonna make. A huge thank you to Jim from Jim's Kitchen and Sherry from Cooking with Sherry for taking part in this beefed up desserts collaboration. You should definitely go visit their channels, and if you wanna know what they made for the collab, you're gonna have to watch their videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. I doubt it gave you a lot of ideas, but here we are. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos about food, vintage cookbooks, and retro recipes every week. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!